Someone invented basketball. James Naismith, 1891. You can look him up. Someone invented the telephone. Alexander Graham Bell. Someone invented Coca-Cola. Someone figured out the recipe and wrote it down and locked it in a vault. Now tell me who invented English. Go ahead. Take your time. You can't, and neither can anyone else, because English wasn't invented the way a normal thing gets invented. No single person sat down, sharpened a stick, and said, "Right, I'm going to make a language today." The real story is messier than that, and way more interesting. It involves 5 invasions, a lot of stolen animals, and one very embarrassing fact about the word they. Let's go back to the beginning. The year is 410 AD. Britain is a cold, wet island at the far edge of the Roman Empire, and Rome is having a terrible year. The empire is collapsing from the inside, so Rome does what any overwhelmed empire does when things get bad enough. It pulls its soldiers out. Just like that, Britain is left empty. No army, no protection, completely undefended, which is, historically speaking, a very bad time to be undefended, because right across the North Sea there are tribes watching. Angles, Saxons, Jutes, all from what is now northern Germany and Denmark. They have been eyeing this island for a while, and now there is nobody left to say no, so they cross the water and move in. The Angles take the north and the middle of Britain, and the name of the land they came from, a region called Angln, slowly becomes the name of their new home, England. England, their dialect gets a name too. English, so we found the inventor, right? Case closed? Not even close. Because here's the thing, if you actually heard Old English being spoken right now, you would understand 0 words. 0. It sounds more like German than anything you've ever used. The very first line of Beowulf, one of the oldest poems written in Old English, goes, "Huet we gardena in Geardagum." That's English. The earliest version of the same language you're listening to right now, you didn't understand a single syllable. Neither did I. So the Angles gave English its name, but they did not build the language you're actually using. Something else had to crash into it first. Actually, a few things crashed into it, starting around 789 AD. That's when the Vikings showed up, not to chat, to raid, burning villages, stealing cattle, completely uninvited. But then, and this is the part people miss, they stayed. They settled. They married locals. And their language, Old Norse, started mixing into Old English like 2 buckets of paint someone accidentally knocked into each other. And you live with the result of that collision every single day. Sky, egg, window, knife, husband, leg, root, all Viking words. We had no English words for those things. We borrowed them from people who were raiding us. But here's the one that really gets me. The word they, their, them. Viking words. Every single one. We literally did not have a word for they until the people raiding our villages gave us one. So the next time someone says another culture is taking over, know that the actual word they was borrowed from invaders. We kept their pronoun and kicked them out. Fair trade. But none of that, not the Angles, not the Vikings, none of it prepared English for what was coming in 1066. This is the moment that broke English apart and put it back together as something completely different. William the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy in what is now northern France, crossed the English Channel with an army and won the Battle of Hastings in a single afternoon. And just like that, the people running England spoke French. Not Old English, not Viking, French. French became the language of the court, the language of law, the language of money and power. If you wanted to work for the king, you spoke French. If you wanted to survive in the church hierarchy, you spoke French. For nearly 300 years, 2 languages lived on the same small island, and they did not get along. Here is the easiest way to picture it. The farmers, who still spoke Old English, raised the animals, cows, pigs, sheep, deer. They fed them, cleaned up after them, spent all day with them. But the nobles, who spoke French, ate those same animals for dinner. And on the dinner table, they got French names. Cow becomes beef, pig becomes pork, sheep becomes mutton, deer becomes venison. The poor raised them, the rich renamed them. Same animal, 2 different words, depending entirely on which end of the table you were sitting at. That's why English still does this today. We have 2 words for almost every single thing. And the shorter, rougher word is almost always Old English, and the longer, fancier one is almost always French. And then there's Latin. The Catholic Church ran everything spiritual and intellectual across Europe. Priests used Latin, doctors used Latin, lawyers used Latin. And every time a new idea needed a name, in science, in medicine, in philosophy, English grabbed a Latin word and adopted it on the spot. This is why you can say end or terminate. You can ask or inquire. You can be friendly or amicable. It is all the same idea in 2 different outfits, one for Tuesday, one for the important meeting. By the 1300s, all of this mixing had been happening long enough to produce something new. Historians call it Middle English. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote the Canterbury Tales in it around 1390. You've probably seen a line from it somewhere. One that April with his showers suit. When April arrives with its sweet showers. Still not easy to read, but you can start to see it. English is beginning to look like itself. Then in 1476, something happened that locked everything in place. William Caxton brought the printing press to England. Before printing, spelling was basically a personal choice. Night had 5 different spellings depending on where you were from. Nobody checked, nobody cared. You just wrote however your village said it. The printing press cared, because suddenly thousands of copies of the same book had to use the same spelling on every single page, and the dialect that got printed the most was the one spoken in London. Not because London English was better, just because that's where the press happened to be. So right now, in a way nobody planned and nobody voted on, we all use a version of the London dialect from the 1470s. That's the blueprint that survived. And then there's Shakespeare, late 1500s, wrote 37 plays, 154 sonnets, and somewhere around 1,700 words that simply did not exist before he put them on paper. Bedroom, lonely, generous, eyeball, swagger, uncomfortable, manager, bedroom again, because somehow we needed that word and nobody had thought of it. He didn't create English, but he found it and dressed it up and sent it out somewhere it had never been. He also, by the way, wrote the phrase, "What the Dickens," 200 years before Charles Dickens was born, which means Dickens himself walked around saying, "What the Dickens," with absolutely no idea he was saying his own last name. That one genuinely bothers me every time I think about it. So, after all of that, who created English? Nobody. Not one person, not one tribe, not one king with a plan. English is a pileup, a 1,500-year collision of everyone who ever landed on a rainy island and couldn't be completely removed. The Angles gave it the name, the Saxons gave it the bones, the Vikings gave it sky and egg and the word they, the Normans gave it beef and justice, and the letter Q doing absolutely nothing useful in the word queen. Latin gave it the vocabulary of power and science. The printing press gave it a fixed shape, and Shakespeare gave it attitude. English was never invented. It was collected from everyone, over and over again, for 15 centuries and counting, and it never stopped collecting. Right now, today, English is still doing exactly what it has always done. Words like selfie, ghosting, situationship, none of those existed 20 years ago, and now they're in the dictionary. And in 20 years, there will be words we haven't thought of yet doing the exact same thing. English has never had a single creator. It has always had new arrivals, same as it ever was.